What's up everybody? Nate here. So the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market has gone crazy over the last 2 years. And because of all the volatility in the market, the United States government and governments around the world are trying to figure out what to do with it. Some countries like China have completely banned it, while other countries like El Salvador are much more accepting to the digital currencies. And lately, the United States has been kind of somewhere in the middle. And with Congress starting to move forward with regulation in the cryptocurrency industry, President Joe Biden decided to step in early and make an executive order on Bitcoin and crypto. President Joe Biden wants to explore the possibility of a digital US dollar. Today, we're gonna go over everything that you need to know. So be sure to stick around till the very end of this video to learn everything you need to know about President Joe Biden's cryptocurrency executive order. But before I break all of this down, do me a quick favor and hit smash or destroy that thumbs up button below and ring that notification bell too. Both of those two things are completely free and they help to show me that you like this video and that you want to see even more just like it. Thank you so much for doing that. Now let's get right into President Joe Biden's cryptocurrency executive order. So we're going to break down Biden's cryptocurrency executive order into 6 main categories: consumer and investor protection, financial stability, illicit activity, US competitiveness on a global stage, financial inclusion, and responsible innovation. But first, I need to kind of address why President Joe Biden is making an executive order on crypto in the first place. Oh no, Biden, don't touch my crypto. Okay, crypto and regulation doesn't exactly go together. I mean, ever since Bitcoin was founded back in 2009, it's pretty much been the currency for the people. It doesn't have a central governing body like our traditional currency. So US dollars can be printed by the United States Federal Reserve. However, Bitcoin has a limit and other cryptocurrencies are exactly the same. In addition, nobody really decides what actually happens with cryptocurrency. It is the digital currency for the people by the people. That has also led to some pretty big scams though. According to Coinmetrics, around $7.7 billion was stolen in the form of crypto scams in 2021. And that's a big deal because cryptocurrency is largely unregulated in the United States. So when your cryptocurrency is lost, the best thing that brokerages can do is give you money back, but they don't give you your crypto back. They give you US dollars or whatever currency you actually use to buy the crypto. It's really difficult to get your cryptocurrency back because usually there's only a limited number of supply in the market. For instance, for Bitcoin, there can only ever be 21 million in existence. But because of all of the stock market crashes and our economy issues and inflation in 2020, 2021, and now in 2022, people have been searching for alternative investments, and Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are considered alternatives. And of course, they are hedges against inflation because there's only so many that are on the market, and it's an asset that has the potential to appreciate way faster than inflation, which has meant that thousands, if not millions, of new cryptocurrency investors have entered the market over the last 2 years. But like I said, that has led to a lot of scams and a lot of hacks, leading the United States government to kind of try to figure out what to do with crypto. So that brings us to number 1, consumer and investor protection. Because of the heavy volatility and all of the scams over the last 2 years, the US government just cannot afford to allow its consumers and investors to put their money behind an asset with no types of protection. So in this executive order, President Joe Biden wants the Treasury Department to develop policy recommendations on crypto. It also wants regulators to, quote, ensure sufficient oversight and safeguard against any systematic financial risks posed by digital assets. So this is pretty broad, and it could mean anything from extra security to more government oversight and just a straight up reclassification of what a digital asset is. And it's not really too crazy to think that the United States federal government would reclassify what cryptocurrency is because some states in our country are already doing the same. This also kind of looks directly at stablecoins. So stablecoins are a cryptocurrency investment that kind of mimics a real world currency. So Tether, for instance, is a stablecoin that basically trades at the same value as the US dollar. But regulators have had a problem with this because Tether is not actually backed by US dollars. So it's kind of a confusing asset. Now, the United States federal government and President Joe Biden want the Treasury Department to change some regulation policies so that we can try to figure out what exactly a cryptocurrency asset is in government terms. That can hopefully protect consumers. Now, we're not really sure exactly what these regulations are going to look look like, but it could mean that the cryptocurrency market is more shaped like the stock market or the bond market. These assets have to go through a super huge regulatory hurdle before people can actually buy and sell them. And they actually have a governing body called the SEC that pretty much oversees everything that goes on in the stock market. Crypto market doesn't really have that yet, but it might soon because of this new executive order. Now, kind of going off of that, let's talk about number 2, illicit activity. Illicit basically means illegal, so you're not supposed to do certain things with cryptocurrency. Even though it's the people's currency, you can't exactly do whatever you want with it. Now, President Joe Biden has called for, quote, unprecedented focus of coordinated action from federal agencies in mitigating illicit finance and national security risks posed by cryptocurrencies. He also wants international collaboration, so he wants other countries to do the exact same thing. Basically, the first part of this executive order wants to stop scams and hacks before they even happen, but if they do end up happening, this is where the second part of the executive order comes in. President Joe Biden basically wants to create a task force for finding all of this illegal activity within the cryptocurrency market. They want their powers expanded so that if there is super heavy illegal activity, then they have the government power to be able to find and return all of that crypto. Not only that, but the means to actually find people who are using cryptocurrency illegally. So whether they're actually stealing it or just scamming it is one thing, but if they actually have cryptocurrency and they're using it for illegal activity, that's a problem too. Because some things in the United States are just banned. They are completely illegal at a state and federal level. But one of the major concerns for the Biden administration right now is that cryptocurrency is universal, meaning pretty much every country around the world has access to it, unlike US dollars and the United States federal government, where we only have jurisdiction within our own country. President Joe Biden and his administration believes that cryptocurrency is currently being used to subvert a lot of the sanctions that the US and other countries have put on Russia. Whether it's Americans actually sending crypto to Russia or Russians in Ukraine or other countries around the world, President Joe Biden wants to put an end to this and actually create a task force for finding these individuals and seizing all of that crypto. This would only be in circumstances where it is clear that illegal activity is going on. So they first have to figure out what exactly it means to be illegal in the cryptocurrency space. That's why they want to create these federal oversight committees. Next up, number 3, let's talk about the United States and its competitiveness of crypto on a global stage. In this executive order, the President of the United States wants to give the US a competitive edge against all other countries when it comes to cryptocurrency. So President Joe Biden officially tasked the Department of Commerce with, quote, establishing a framework to drive US competitiveness and leadership in and leveraging of digital asset technologies. Now, this is also super broad, but what it could mean is that a lot more coins and cryptocurrencies are developed right here in the States. Not only that, but it draws in a lot more cryptocurrency miners from all around the world. Now, to do this, you're gonna have to have better incentives and the space for these miners to operate. But if we can pull it off, then the United States could essentially be the cryptocurrency capital of the world. And that is huge, especially since last year, China completely banned cryptocurrency. And the reason that was so significant is because most of the crypto miners from around the world mined crypto in China, but then they had to flee the country and find other places to mine. A lot of them ended up coming to the United States. A lot of them went to El Salvador and other countries around the world. President Joe Biden wants the crypto capital to be the US. Cryptocurrency is the future, and money is increasingly becoming more digital every single day, so it makes a lot of sense. Plus, with all of these crypto assets in the United States, when you sell a crypto asset, that means more tax dollars for Uncle Sam. So if people really want it, let's make it happen here in the US. Number 4, we've got to talk all about innovation here. So one of the things that has kind of slowed the cryptocurrency market down is the fact that the technology just isn't there yet. And what I mean by this is people who create cryptocurrencies are able to do so very well from a software standpoint. However, the tech is limited by our time. It certainly has a future in the United States, but right now the technology that we have just isn't super compatible with crypto yet. The United States effectively wants to change that, creating more innovative ways for people to buy and sell crypto in the United States. Not only that, but the way that cryptocurrency is created is super outdated and bad for our planet. It uses a ton of energy, and the United States is currently trying to fight a climate change battle. I mean, the amount of electricity it takes to mine one Bitcoin is huge, and the crypto mining operations all throughout the world use so much energy, it rivals small countries. So now we're just trying to figure out new innovative ways to actually mine crypto. And that is all part of this new executive order. That will not only make mining cryptocurrency a net positive thing for our environment, it'll bring a lot more miners to the country because it's way more efficient here in the US. On top of that though, President Joe Biden is kind of kicking around the idea right now of a digital dollar. He is calling on the federal government to place urgency on research and development of a potential central bank digital currency. This comes after the Federal Reserve in 2021 released an entire report on digital currencies and if the United States should create one. They kind of gave their pros and cons. They said they'd be open to it, but it might not be the right time as of yet. And the reason for this one specifically is because the United States recognizes that money is becoming more and more digital. I mean, more people use credit cards and their debit cards and pay online than they do actually using cash. So why not just have a digital version of the dollar? I mean, I guess at that point it would be a lot less fun for Jerome Powell to make that money printer go burr, and it would be a lot easier for the United States government to issue new currency, but it would be a little bit different than a cryptocurrency. This would be a digital dollar. Basically like US dollars, but completely digital. And lastly, this brings up the final 2 points: financial stability and financial inclusion. So obviously having a digital dollar and having cryptocurrency dominate your entire economy brings up some questions about stability. Obviously the cryptocurrency market is extremely volatile. So if all you have is digital dollars or cryptocurrency dominating your country, well, that could be an issue. People have to be able to actually spend this money. If they're not, then nobody's really gonna want it. At the moment, people really like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin because of its technology and because it's an asset. It's a thing that you can own that makes you money. It's not something that you can spend like traditional money. Now, I will say some cryptocurrencies allow you to spend them. But if that was the sole purpose of Bitcoin, it really wouldn't be much different than the dollar. And of course, what actually happens if the United States needs more? If we have a ton of just digital dollars, do we just basically type out a number on our laptop? Or is there a larger process than that? Because remember, the Federal Reserve isn't actually issuing new currency here. And what I mean by that is physical dollars. They're not actually printing money like they did back in 2020 and in 2021. In addition, can you just have as much digital money as you want? How exactly does that play into inflation? There are a lot of questions here in terms of financial stability, and we haven't even got to hacks and scams yet. If people steal your digital money, how exactly are you reimbursed? Because that money technically doesn't really exist. In addition, if you have a certain number of digital dollars in your bank account, can you just go to the bank and access that money? Obviously, this executive order has a lot of things left to cover. Yeah, we still got some questions. And of course, then you have financial inclusion. So right now, the dollar is something that people can access whether you have a bank account or not. I will say it's a lot easier if you do, but you can get cash without having a bank account. In addition, you don't need a debit or a credit card. So there are still millions of Americans out there that don't make purchases with either of those two things. If we only have a digital dollar though, that means that people who don't have access to a traditional bank account or a debit or credit card are basically screwed. They're not going to be able to spend their money unless they get one of those two things. So that's a difficult question for the United States federal government to ask, and an even tougher one to answer. Should we just make everything digital, or is it going to be kind of a hybrid of both? If it's a hybrid of both, that's not really much different than where we're at today. And that is pretty much all in this executive order. It's pretty short. There's still a lot for the federal government to figure out, so don't expect any major sweeping changes over the next couple years. A lot is going to change though, and I think it's in the right direction for the United States government to try to figure out what to do with cryptocurrency. I think it's better than just starting to make bills based on what we know right now. I think the US government needs to do a lot more research on cryptos before they start making changes to the actual market. That's the responsible thing to do. I mean, we're gonna have to see how this all actually pans out, for now, it's not a bad executive order. And it could mean that once all of the kinks are kind of figured out with cryptocurrency and we have things like the digital dollar and responsible innovation in the United States, well, we could become the cryptocurrency capital of the world, bringing in a lot more tax dollars and even more asset opportunities for investors and consumers alike. That could lead to higher adoptability in the United States, meaning more businesses accept it as a form of currency. And if there's actually some regulation and laws backing cryptocurrency, that could protect a lot of consumers too and give them the confidence to buy even more. Because they know if something happens, the United States has their back. That is a huge move. And again, we're gonna have to keep an eye on how this all plays out over the next couple of years. But now I wanna hear from you on this issue. What do you think about this executive order from President Joe Biden on cryptocurrency? Do you think this is a step in the right direction for the US government and its regulations? Or do you think that the US government and no governments around the world should be regulating crypto in any capacity? And this is actually a bad move by the Biden administration. Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment below before you go. But that is it for today's business and financial news breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date with all of the top business and financial news from around the country, our team puts together a free daily newsletter, and you can subscribe to it by clicking the link in this corner right here. And if you want to stay up to date with me and everything else happening in the business and financial world, I'm putting out uploads on this channel every single day, and I've actually got another one ready for you right here, so be sure to check that out before you go. That is it for me, everybody. Be kind out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.